All right, guys, we'll wait until the new members come in and then we'll get started. So hopefully they're on their way soon.
I told you it's at my house. Dirty. That's just the way it is.
All right, guys, I guess we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome, everybody. Is Facebook up and going? Or YouTube? Good? Is the YouTube ready to go? Okay. All right. Good deal. All right. Welcome. Next to the last meeting. Mike, you have anything? All right. Jeremy?
No, you don't.
Need someone to make me look good, James.
Doesn't he look good?
All right, so real quick for some housekeeping, make sure your profile numbers and emails are up to date so we have good contact information. I have a couple officials that have said they've tried to message on through the Arbiter app or whatever, and a number or something is not listed. So do your best to have a good number or send it to me and I'll get it added. So we're about roughly halfway through with 5A and 6A moving towards the end, which will be much easier to cover. And we've done pretty good. We've been able to accommodate the changes. We've, to my knowledge, haven't missed any sites altogether. And I think just a few work two-man mechanics. So no fault of my own. Some other people didn't show up. So that said, it's good. I do want to cover a couple of things real quick. I can get to my note here. So I want to talk a little bit about sub-varsity assignments. You will hear shortly that I will not be the sub-varsity assigner next year. Some may clap, some may cuss. But I just want to take a minute and say thanks for allowing me to serve the membership in that capacity. When I took it over, there was a lot of negative conversation around it, a lot of negative opinions, justly so, about it. But I will tell you that we've done a really good job as a chapter, and regardless of who's in this seat, the membership as a whole will carry that through. And I'll just give you kind of an idea of what we've done. Generally, I assign you guys work roughly about 900 games throughout the sub-varsity season, which equates to about 2,700 positions, or if you have 3 or 4, depending on the number. So it's a substantial number that we have on the field Monday through Thursday for sub-varsity, and now this year some Friday and Saturday for sub-varsity. A couple of years ago, we had the opportunity, because of East Texas inability to cover their games, we picked up some significant schedules. So we picked up Gilmer, we picked up Kilgore, and we picked up Mineola for 2 reasons. One, we have a membership group that was willing to work and show up for those assignments. And then you had, I give myself some credit of being involved in that role and encouraging and working with that membership to ensure that I tried to accommodate your schedules, which made a few more available on Thursday night that typically were not available. But those 3 schools transfer into varsity assignments for Friday night. So it takes a lot of work to get there, but they pay off for us all, and that spreads out across the entire cruise. In addition, this year we were able to get Waxahachie to come back. So we had Waxahachie for years. We lost them for a year or 2. We were able to get them to come back. That's a significant investment because they play basically every day of the week at multiple sites. Easterly's here. He covers a lot of them. So I just want to say thanks. I appreciate you guys allowing me to do it. You'll see that I'll hopefully be running for another spot. But it's been an honor to serve in this capacity. Just want to say thanks now that we have the opportunity to do it. 2015, 16, I started, so about 5 or 6 years, depending on where that line's drawn. Still.
All right, thanks, Jeremy. Thanks for your help on that. All right, Larry?
Good evening. Just a couple of things. Well, I think we're about 3/4 of the way through the 4A and down, and just beginning really the 5A and 6A. So let's keep going strong, finish strong. There are a couple things I want to talk about tonight. I won't take long. Okay, if one of them's targeting. Now there's 2 types of targeting: 913, which is what? Crown, helmet. And 914, which is hit on a defenseless player, okay, in the head or neck area. We had a situation Friday night where targeting was called, and they called it flagrant targeting. So the young man had to sit out the remainder of that game. Now, I don't know, according to UIL, he can come back this week, but I don't know what the DEC of that particular district, how they handle it. But in looking at the film, it was not targeting. I've had several people look at it, and the reason I bring this up is because if you're gonna call it, let's know the rule and let's know the indicators of targeting. I mean, there was, was there a launch? Did he lead with the crown of his helmet? Did they hit? And we can have helmet, and we don't use this term, but I'm going to say it for this purpose. We can have helmet to helmet contact and it not be targeting. In this particular play, it's hard to see it, but that's probably what happened because both guys were going for a ball at the same time. So again, talk about it in pregame. In your pregames, go over targeting again, and for gosh sakes, if you're gonna if you're gonna call a flagrant, I mean, that's one of those uh-oh moments. Like when the punt returner's looking up for the ball and he's looking up and it's coming down and somebody just comes and lays him out right in the chin. That would be what I consider a flagrant type targeting. But let's really make sure that we've got it if we're going to call it, because that young man's going to have to sit out the remainder of that game. Another thing is, and this is a good time because playoffs are starting, so it'd be a good time, cover things like penalty enforcement, things like that. Make sure that you're all on the same page as a crew when it comes to penalty enforcement, because you want to get those things right. And we get them right, on a Friday night we get them right 98% of the time, but every now and then we'll have something happen. So, but in your pre-games this week, go over targeting, go over penalty enforcement, go over the kicking game, something you haven't talked about in several weeks. It doesn't hurt to go back over it in a pregame. So anyway, that's about all I have. Everything seems to be going smooth. Hadn't got a whole lot sent in, and so we're doing good in that regard. So let's have a good Friday night.
All right. We have a special guest with us tonight. Greg Parham is here, so everybody say hi to Greg, and if you have a second, stop by and wish him well. And it's good to see him, and so it's proud to see him back. So, anyway, all right. Lance?
Yeah, so this week, since we're working a lot more seven-man games, obviously this season, I wanted to go over some seven-man mechanics. And this is just from one film. I've seen a couple of films, and the good news is that a lot of us are working these games the same. Okay, so we're kind of using the same mechanics. There's a couple of things that I've seen on films using seven-man crews that I wanted to go over because I'm seeing it in all of them, and they are, some of the mechanics are simply because we haven't worked side judge and field judge much. So a lot of these new officials that are working deep may not have had a lot of snaps there. So I wanted to show some of the things that we're doing correctly, some of the things that we're not doing correctly, and try to just get us all on the same page quick. And it's nothing real huge. Actually, the film I'm going to show you, a lot of these things are actually good things that they're doing, and then a couple of things that need to be tweaked. So, Stephen, if you'll go ahead and start, and this is actually pretty simple here. Yeah, no problem. I can actually talk about this without you even playing it, but on this play here, if you'll notice, we've got the 4 up officials on the receiving team restraining line and the kicking team restraining line, and this goes for 7-man and 5-man, and I've seen this, and I wanted to commend the chapter, is that I haven't seen anyone do it incorrectly yet on film, okay? But if you'll notice, all 4 officials are standing to start a kickoff on the back of the white, okay? And it doesn't sound like a big deal, guys. It really doesn't. But on a 5-man crew, it's important. On a 7-man crew, it's important. But we need to be able to see down the sideline and see our officials down there on the pylons, right? We want those sidelines cleared for that reason. And also, any type of kickoff, we're going to have major moving by the officials, right, up and down the sideline. So we are getting up and down, and we need to have that sideline clear. So this right here, I just wanted to show 7-man crew, all 4 officials on the back white, and even the 5-man games that I've seen this year, we're doing a very good job of starting on the back of the white in these plays. You can go ahead to the next one, Stephen. No, you can go ahead and go to the next one. And they're going to show a tight on every one of them. I can't cut those off. There you go. Go to the tight view on this one. All right. This is actually a pretty good, it's a very good call, but we'll see this a lot, and I know everybody that works the wings has seen this. But in this play here, you're going to see the defensive guys move laterally on the line, and you're going to see the offensive guy jump. Okay, so who are we putting that on? We're going to put that on who? We're going to put it on the defense, right? The defense moves laterally, they don't come into the neutral zone, and the offense moves, we've got a false start on the offense, right? They have to come into that neutral zone and cause the adjacent lineman to move in order to put it on the defense, okay? Go ahead and play this. Okay, they correctly got that right. They put it on the defense and marked it off correctly. Now, the coaches in that situation are probably going to be telling you, hey, the defense moved, the defense moved. Correct, coach, they did. All those defensive guys moved, but they didn't get in the line of scrimmage. They didn't get into the neutral zone. Okay, you can go to the next one. All right, this is a punt play here. There's a great job by the side judge in this. Okay, so we have a short punt, right? So we have the side judge, field judge, back judge. We have a short punt. So there's no reason for those deep wings to be hanging deep anymore. It's okay to go ahead and move forward. And in this situation, the ball's short, and there's about probably 18 players of the 22 that are standing right there where the ball's at. So we really need to get a look if we're going to have touching, right? If we're going to have an illegal touching or a touching by the receiving team that may turn the ball over to the defense if it's recovered, correct? So we need to know if this ball's being touched. And I think the side judge here does a really good job moving back down the line to getting better view of the touching here. Go ahead. Comes to rest. He's in position. He's on the yard line. He correctly kills it. So don't, as a deep official, don't think that you have to keep that cushion even though the play's still alive. If that ball's dead, and as you can see, those kids are kind of letting that ball roll, go ahead and move up, make sure we get any kind of touching going on here. All right, this is what I'm seeing a lot of when looking at these seven-man clips, the ones that we're getting in. Looking at these seven-man clips, okay? Deep wings. On this play, you've got about 24 yards of cushion on this play right now, okay? We want to be 20 to 22, right? If you're going to have a high passing team, a high volume of passes, I don't mind, and I don't think any deep officials would mind if you took 2 or 3 more yards if you know that you've got either a fast receiver or a lot of passing going on to give yourself a little more cushion. He's at 24 yards deep, which is great. What I'm seeing a lot, and again, this is human nature, especially if you haven't worked deep wing, they call it happy feet, right? You just feel like you're not doing anything if you're not moving, right? But as a deep wing, there's times where there's no real reason to move. You know, if they're running a draw play and your key, which is the outside guy, if he's just going into block, there's no real reason for you to start your back pedal. You know, if they're going to run a ball up the middle or to the outside, there's no real reason to move. And you'll see in this, he does a good job of holding his spot at the snap for this short pass and not releasing too early. But I told him I'd encourage him to let the play develop a little more before going downfield, and once the play's over, accordion in with the rest of the officials. So in this play here, he just gets a little happy, he goes a little deep, and the play ends up, I don't know, maybe a couple yard gain here. So go ahead and play it, Stephen. So we have a short yardage, he gains a yard, and you can kind of see the guy moving back a little bit, and he does it all film, and it's not the only one I've seen. But if you haven't worked side judge or field judge, it's just natural because we've been preached to all of our lives as deep wings to not get beat to the goal line, right? But not every play's going to the goal line, right? So just make sure you're holding your spot, don't release too early, stay in there so you can get a good vision, a good view of what's going on. You can go to the next one, Stephen. All right, this is something else as a deep wing. It only has to happen once for you to realize that you'll never do it again. But guys, we've got to make sure that our sideline is clear behind us. Because once you start that backpedaling, right, you can't see what's behind you, right? And there's an official that calls college football and is in this chapter and does a lot of training for us that actually had to go into concussion protocol because he got hit by a camera backpedaling during a college football game. He didn't know it was there. But he's standing on the sideline and takes it right to the dome. And he's, you know, out the game and sitting in a black room with concussion protocols. So make sure we have our sideline clear because he's backpedaling. He doesn't see that guy there. Luckily, he gets out of his way, but it sure could have ended poorly here. Go ahead and play it. I think he's in good position right here. I did ask him, though, if he would have caught it, if that kid would have caught it, would he have beat him to the goal line? And he said probably not. So he might have liked to have another 5 or 6, 7 yards on him. But it's still, he's in good position. He's not too far away. He's about 10 yards away from where the kid's at, and it's an incomplete pass. Go ahead, Stephen. You can go to the next one, bud. All right, so again, it's kind of the same thing. Hold your position, don't release, don't go back too early. Right now, the ball's on the 20-yard line, and he's on the opposite 45. So he's 35 yards away from where the ball is, where his keys are, and where the action's at. So you're probably a little bit too far away. Go ahead, Stephen. You can go to the next one, bud. This is a very good job here by all 3 deep officials and the wing official on this side. This is great position. So he catches the ball at the middle. He's fixing to break it for a pretty good size gain. Everybody's got a good cushion. If you look at the 2 wingmen, they're both in good positions, mirroring each other. The back judge is headed. But notice they've all made the right decision. They're seeing that he's fixing to break into the open field, and they've already turned. They've stopped backpedaling. Now they've turned, and they're going the direction of the goal line. And the head linesman that's on this side is actually in great position to keep up with the play once this ball's dead. Go ahead, Stephen. He's got a good spot. And everyone is in the correct position at the end of the play. This is a great job by the umpire right here, guys. Goes to you, the work you, I'm sure you know, once we have a pass that gets by you, try to get turned around real quick, help out with catch, no catch, and it becomes a very good call, a very big call in this game here. Go ahead and play this. This is an excellent job by the umpire. You're going to see real quick. The head linesman's coming down. He squares off his corner thinking that we have a completed pass. But the ball's there. The head linesman, you have to think, is coming from this way, so he's blocked out. So that ball is actually sitting between the player and the ground right now, and he's blocked out. All he can see is the back of the receiver. That's why it's so important, umpires, to make sure we get turned around quick enough to get to that ball. This is a great job. Again, 7-man crew is a little bit easier, but on a 5-man crew, same thing. Okay, we have ineligible downfield on this play. It's a great pickup by the umpire here to get number 58 down there. He is about 7 or 8 yards downfield. The quarterback has the ball in his hand, about to release it, and he is downfield for sure. This is a good job. Remember, intentional grounding, it's not where the guy is when the ball is caught or when it crosses the line of scrimmage. Okay, or not intentional grounding, ineligible downfield. For an ineligible downfield, it's where he's at when the ball is released by the quarterback. Okay, when it's released by the quarterback. This is a good pickup by those guys. Go ahead. All right, this is you stop it right here, Stephen. So this was in our game 2 weeks ago. Nothing funny happens, but I mentioned to the new officials that I like to talk about plays, guys, and show plays that you may not ever see or hear about, and sometimes plays that we see all the time and fouls that we see all the time, just so we can get some repetition of seeing what is and is not holding, or what is and is not a blindside block or pass interference. And I do that so we're not looking at it or thinking about it the first time when we see it on the field, okay? And nothing really crazy happens in this play. The receiving team makes a bonehead decision on this play, unfortunately, and allows the kicking team to recover the football. But I'm on the pylon, and I'm watching it, and I hear the receiving team say, let it go, let it go, let it go. Okay, which is never a good thing when the ball's kicked deep and it hadn't reached the end zone yet, right? You can go ahead and play it, Stephen. And they're saying that right about now. And the ball checks up. You can go ahead and play it. Ball checks up on about the 2-yard line. So the receiving team just walks away thinking the ball's going to carry them into the end zone. As a referee or as a line judge, if you're down there with your referee and that's happening, don't ever anticipate the ball just going into the end zone. Definitely do not blow it dead too early or too quick. You want to make sure that you let that play develop there. But there's a lot of things that could have happened. He could have hit that, the receiving team or the kicking team could have tried to grab that ball. It could have rolled into the end zone. It could have rolled out of the back of the end zone. The receiving team could have got on it. A lot of things can happen in there. Don't let those kind of scenarios, don't let that happen on the field without you thinking about those kind of scenarios first. That's why I like to show these plays. So the first time it happens on the field is not the first time we see it or think about it. All right, go ahead, Stephen. Last one right here. I think. May not be. No, there's one more after this one. Yeah, so watch this guy right here. And think about keys in this situation here, okay? Think about keys right here. Okay, so he started out on the other side. They snapped the ball. He didn't go in motion before the snap, but he's an eligible receiver. Okay, and he's coming across the line, behind the line of scrimmage after the ball snapped. So he's sneaking around the formation to try to run this little out where nobody's going to catch him, right? It's a great design play, and you see it more often now. But we have to make sure we're aware that this kid can still be, number one, eligible to catch a pass. Number two, he can be held or have defensive pass interference against him, which is what we probably should have had holding on this play. Go ahead. Go ahead. And he's, of course, asking us, and we didn't see it. So if you look at it right there, go ahead and pause it. So as it starts, you can think about, if you're a back judge or wing guy, who are your keys in this formation right here? Okay, be thinking about that right here. And that guy sneaks behind him. So are you giving him off? If you're a back judge, are you giving him to the line judge now when he gets to that side? Are you going to stay with him across the field? Those are things that you need to be processing as this play develops. Go ahead, Stephen. And that's a miss. We should have had holding on an eligible receiver right there, for sure. Yes. You can have holding. You can't have DPI. But you can have holding. Okay. This is a play that I think got shared through Huddle, and it's just a good play to look at, guys. I'm not saying it is or isn't. I would tell you that I believe that this is offensive pass interference. And the reason I say that is, whose responsibility is it to avoid contact in their route? It's the offensive player's responsibility to avoid contact, okay? You can't really see it good on the tight view. The wide view shows it great. But you just watch his actions when he goes downfield. Go ahead, Stephen. This is the one you'll see right here. Watch the slot receiver here go downfield. And right there. That's a good pickup, Scotty Allen. Proud of you, kid. Even the coach gave you grief about it all night long, so that's a good pickup. That's all I've got, guys, on the seven-man side. Deep wings, if you get a chance to work deep and you haven't worked deep, I used a first-time official last week. He's a 7 or 8 year official, but it's the first time he'd ever worked a seven-man game last week. And he did a great job, or was a part of a seven-man game. He did a great job. If we can try to work those guys in, let's try to do it. Obviously, it's a kind of a crazy year with COVID, and we got a lot of crews that are getting games the week of the games, and some that are losing games and picking games up. It's a mess. But if you get an opportunity to work seven-man, make sure we're going through our seven-man mechanics manual. Make sure we're going through the rules and your responsibilities during the game, so you know when you step on the field what your responsibilities are and what you need to do. So outside of that, guys, that's all I've got. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Lance. All right, we'll get started with the nominating committee. Oscar, if you want to come on up. Oscar, who all was on your committee? Oscar, Isaiah, Gary Guthrie, Kyle Carson, somebody else. Oh, Buddy Firkwan. So, all right. All right, so we'll start off with the treasurer. You have a,
Committee nominated, we nominated Mike Jones.
all right, Mike Jones has been nominated. The treasurer, that was the treasurer. All right, yeah, it was our. All right, motion nomination cease. Do what? Oh, okay. Oh, right now, hey, if you're online, you can nominate.
Who made a
What?
motion that they cease?
Wes, or, do what? We got it. All right, we got a second that we cease. All those in favor, raise your hand. Opposed? None? All right, that was unanimous. Mike? All right, now we're going to do recording secretary. Recording secretary.
The nominating committee recommended John Shaw.
Any others? Oh, let's give the Facebook just a second. Good. All right, we got a motion, nomination cease. Second. All right, all those in favor, raise your hand. Oppose? None? All right, sub-varsity game assignment secretary.
Nominating committee nominated Todd Cheney.
Todd Taney. All right, we've got a nomination for Stephen O'Neill. All right. Face. I'm sorry? Oh, Jeremy, I'm sorry. Jeremy nominated Stephen O'Neill. No. Thank you. Yeah, we need a motion. Mike, a second. Nomination cease. We got a motion, we just need a second. All right,
Who seconded
Kelly Talon. All
it?
right,
Kelly who? He ain't never been to a meeting.
all right, all those in favor, raise your hand. Opposed? None? Motion passes. All right, varsity secretary.
Nominating committee nominated Larry Clemens.
Got Larry. Greg Parham nominates Jeremy Gunnels. All right. Anybody on Facebook? Or YouTube? I don't know, I keep saying Facebook. Facebook Live. All right, can I get somebody to cease? Mike? A second? All right, all those in favor, raise your hand. Opposed? Passes. All right, vice president.
Nominating committee recommended nominated Lance Mathis.
Greg Parham, known as John Teague. Mike? Need a second? Jay Pruitt, all right. All right, all those in favor, raise your hand. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, President.
Nominating committee nominated Fort Chuck. Chad Young. Chad Young.
Brad Frisbee nominates Wes Hall. Stephen? Mhm. Mike? All right, all those in favor, nomination cease, raise your hand. Opposed? None? Motion passes. All right, we'll have speeches at the next meeting, which is the November the 9th, and then we'll open up after that for the internet voting and all that. A couple of things. Don't forget that we represent Tasso, and we represent a lot of important things. And so we've heard that there are some guys that have cases of beer in their car on site. There's a couple of crews. So guys, don't do that. Tasso is not happy with it, and we wouldn't be happy with it. So if that's your crew doing that, no beer on site, and especially going home even. Wait until you get home, you can wait. The last thing we need for publicity is for some officials to kill somebody drinking and driving, okay? And also, even if you go into a restaurant, if you have a Tasso shirt, bring another shirt if you're going to have a beer, just to make us where we don't have to question anything or have to answer for anything. All right? Anything else? All right. We're adjourned.